Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about the Native Nations Rise March in Washington, D.C. that was earlier today, March 10th. It was fantastic. There are many write ups, there are many visuals. They made their point. They set it off in North Dakota, and they set it off in Washington, and they've captured the hearts of our entire nation. And their message has just echoed around the world. They got their message out that water is life. And for those who didn't know, they know now. And it's fantastic that there had been such an effort to silence these voices. And it just got to the point where they said, you know what, this far and no more. They are standing their ground. And I appreciate that. And so there are many write ups. I'll see if I can describe the march. It's Washington, D.C. They had workshops and actions and prayers to battle for Native rights in the face of the right wing Trump administration and the ongoing fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline and Energy Transfer Partners. And so the march began at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers headquarters, and then it ended at Lafayette Square in front of the White House. And so the funny thing was, they erected a teepee at the Trump Hotel to regain stolen land. They more than made their point. There's no mistaking what they were saying. And so, then they marched on to the White House. And it just stretched on for blocks. And then women of the Native Nations Rise also marched too, and they danced and they sang in the rally in Lafayette Square. They played music and they called for environmental justice, for sovereignty, and for a meeting between Donald Trump and the leaders of the tribal nations. And so basically, they're saying that Standing Rock is only the beginning. It is not over. It is not nearly over. And so I'll post a link in the description of this article, which contains visuals, a description, video as well, photographs of the march. And then also, I'm going to talk about the brilliant television spot that aired. And so, again, they are getting their message out unmistakably. This is Fusion Net. It's an article. Standing Rock activists just released their first brutally effective no DAPL TV commercial. And in it, you see it's not long at all, but it just says, you know what, there was a map and it says they were going to run this pipeline about 10 miles north of Bismarck. People of Bismarck protested, and so they ran the pipeline 1 mile north of Sioux Nation. And they said, well, they moved the pipeline because they didn't want to endanger the Bismarck water. But Chase Iron Eyes is in the video, and he says the new route poses the exactly same threat to our water supply. And so, it really puts it out there very clearly what the problem is. And so there's, the court of law, and there's, the evidence and discovery and briefs and motions and documents that go through the court of law. And then there's the court of public opinion. And so, there's one way to win, and then there's another way to win. That the burden of proof is different in each court setting. And so, the Lakota People's Law Project released this commercial that really clarifies what the fight is about. And he's inviting people, Chase Iron Eyes, to inform themselves of the issues surrounding this struggle, and for people to learn more. And so I'll post this link in the description as well. And then I'm going to continue on with another article, and this is at Common Dreams. The the scenario that we're seeing is that people think the fight is over with the Army Corps of Engineers giving the go ahead and the completion of the majority of the construction drilling under the lake, but it's not over. I've talked about other pipeline actions that people are rising up against these fossil fuel companies. And it's having an effect. The local actions, the courtroom fights, the multiple calls for divestment, it's all having an effect. And this is one sign. Um, and this is the article. Another sign just came in that tar sands operations are on life support. Societal acceptance of the energy system as we have it is just disappearing, the Shell chief executive said. And so this is Royal Dutch Shell. They announced this past Thursday that they are selling off the majority of its tar sands assets. As its chief executive noted, the dwindling, and this is a quote, societal acceptance of the energy system as we have it. And so the public outcry, the public actions and demonstrations, the courtroom challenges, the public relations problems, the divestment movement, they are having an effect. Of the $7.25 billion deal with energy company Canadian Natural, Shell said in a statement that it will sell all of its in situ and undeveloped oil sands interests in Canada and reduce its share in the Athabasca oil sands project from 60% to 10%. And so it's a significant step in reshaping Shell's portfolio. And so Greenpeace has commented on this as well, saying that there's more money in making the world better than in destroying it. And so, this sale is just one of the biggest in a series of steps by multinational corporations or companies to turn away from the tar sands, among the most expensive and carbon intensive sources of oil. And so, it's happening. It's happening. We take some brutal battles and some losses, but the war is still going on. We've got people rising up at various pipelines around the United States and Canada and holding multinational corporations to task. And the divestment is still ongoing as well. So, the actions in Washington, D.C. put this issue on a nationwide, unmistakable, nationwide display of issues surrounding the harm being done to the people, to our treaty laws, the actions of our executive office, and allowing egregious acts against Sioux Nation and other people on the ground with their decision making. And so the message is, it's getting out. It's gotten out and it's being effective. But the work is ongoing. The struggle is ongoing. And so to learn more and to see where you can get in and fit in and contribute to this movement, to move away from fossil fuel destructive extraction, whether it's gas or oil or coal, and what can replace it. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and post in the description another link of Action Hub, no DOPL, no DAPL, how to get in on that, how to divest, and then also a link to how to reinvest in renewables and the hard data and facts and figures and quality control that you can use on where to reinvest your money in fossil fuels. Okay, good luck.